Hello, welcome back to the north. Absolutely beautiful outside. It's a little chilly, but the sun is out. What a wonderful day. Tank's doing great up here. I think this water just entered day 3, and I think I'm going to just change it out. Just because. Not because it needs it. As you can see, it's beautiful. But I do think my UV light is puttering out. I am still waiting for my new one. Hopefully be here sometime next week. The usual ones I buy are back in stock, but they're not like 24-hour delivery yet. So they've sent a new shipment to North America, but they haven't distributed them. So they get here the next day. They're not all over the place yet, but that'll change probably in a couple weeks, and they'll be back to next day delivery. Just in time for me to order 4 more of them. I think I'm doing that this month, and I'm just going to put them on, make sure they work, and put them on a shelf. Because I want sterile water at all times. I don't believe I have it right now. I think I'm running more of a normal tank, which is why I'm going to do my water changes today. I just want to ensure everything's nice and clean. Behavior's been good. Little guy's poop continues to look good. So sometimes he did have a white poop, and I did treat because, but I don't think I needed to. Like, if your water conditions go off, the fish can just get like a case of diarrhea. What would be the equivalent of a human case of diarrhea. And when that happens, they'll just poop. They'll just poop white. Especially if they're not eating, they'll also poop white for that reason, because when a fish poos, there's a white casting, kind of like a sausage skin, around the poop. You just don't see it because the poop's dark. But if the fish doesn't eat, they'll still poop out that casting. Or it's like a cover, a slimy cover. They'll just poop that out, and that's what I mean by fish diarrhea. And if your water conditions suddenly change, they can have fish diarrhea. So you gotta. It's just another thing to learn how to identify because white poop can often mean parasites. But it'll look a certain way if it's got parasites. It'll look like a string of pearls, for example, a long, skinny string of pearls. That indicates parasite poop. But yeah, it's tough to tell. When it's white, something's wrong. So don't dismiss it. It's just what's wrong. In my case, I haven't had anything new in my house for forever. It's not parasites. It was my city water went off, and my fish were responding to it. We got everything back in control there now. I'd like to touch base on a little narrative. I guess it's a lot of narratives get spun about me, and I guess one of the things that's being said right now is I've picked a fight with the swamp tank community, but that's the furthest thing from the truth. I actually tried to be nice to the swamp tank community back in the beginning. I was even following advice because I thought, maybe biotopes and stuff is good for fish, and things living in my water was good for, and I lost fish because of it, because it really is just horrible advice. But when I started questioning them in their channels, why is this happening, or how come I'm seeing, they immediately got defensive, which I found was weird, and they started attacking me in my channel well over a year ago. And I was fairly mute about it for several months. Like, I was confused as to why this was even happening. But I just figured, I'm a new guy on the block, so I'm going to get picked on, and I put up with it. But they continued. They were relentless. And it got to the point where I basically got ambushed on another channel during a live. And although the channel host didn't know that was going to happen, the other person who was in league with the cult certainly knew what he was up to. They had a plan, and the whole thing's very organized. They are constantly attacking my channel in every way they can. Frivolous complaints and everything to YouTube and the works. I've never done anything wrong, but they know if they engage that system, it will keep my channel down, and they do it. They do it. So I didn't pick a fight, okay, with any particular large channel or community. They decide to fight with me, and I'm fighting back. And if that bothers some people, that's fine. But they're pushing swamps, and I'm telling you, it's bad husbandry. Clear water is what you're after, okay? We have a responsibility to our animals. Your glass box will never be, quote unquote, natural. Okay, you can't put nature in a glass box. Can't put nature in a shoebox either. Won't work out. Here's Mr. Greg. He agrees. And they're very angry at me because I'm pushing UV. That's really where it started. I was asking them questions about, biology in the water column, and then I started saying, I think maybe using UV might be the better way to go because, I'd been watching a lot of reefer channels and stuff, and it's clear. If you watch how reefers deal with things, there's a contrast. And I trust the reefers. I'm sorry. They're playing an expensive game just like a discus keeper is. And they have the same concerns as discus keeper does. And that's fine. And I left the swamp tankers pretty much alone for a good long time. But then they started telling people to put discus in that crap. Okay? I'll tell you right now, they have to know what they're doing. That's why I'm offended by it, and that's why I'm speaking out against it, because to go to that extreme, to blow out, thousands of dollars of someone else's money just so you can sell a gimpy little product. That was my assessment of what was going on there. Nothing else makes sense to me, and I'm going to speak out against it. And if I'm going to be shunned, by a segment of the fish keeping community, shunned being the word, because that's what cults do. I'm good with it. That's okay, because I truly believe, at the end of the day, the vast majority of people are going to want to see a nice, clean, clear tank. Plants are beautiful. They are. Planted tanks are beautiful. There's a place for them. I don't have a problem with plants. The only reason my tank isn't filled with real plants right now is I have to run 86 degrees. Now, I don't have to run 86 degrees, but I've tried running 82 with these fish, and it doesn't go well. It really doesn't. It will lead to problems. They need to be warmer. And most plants, not all, but most plants. I have some Anubis that have been alive in here for over a year. They don't take off and grow. I got a couple little spots of them. There's another one up here too. They don't die. I got some mossy stuff mixed in there, in with these fake ones too. That also stays alive, but everything else has died on me because of the water temperature. So I don't have a problem with plants. I even put the nicest fake ones I can in there because I like the look. But I keep discus. So, in my other tank I keep plant-eaten cichlids. So it's just not part of the recipe here. That seems to insult the plant. The aquascaping community, they're not even aquascapers. They're just put plants in tanks and then overload the tank with plants. So it's basically a glass box that should be called a flower pot instead of a fish tank. And that's it. I'm not out to pick fights with other communities, but if they're going to pick fights with me, I'm not going to go away. You think you're going to scare me? If I'm saying clear water is good and it hurts your mud sales, I don't care. And if you're going to harass me and think that you're going to push me off platforms and everything else, it's not going to work. And eventually, you're going to cry wolf so often that no one's going to listen to you. And that's happening right now. It's not happening to me. It's happening to you. I'm watching the Swamper channel. I'm watching the activity and the engagement and everything else. And it's just nosedived. So the truth has gotten out. More and more people are learning. He will latch on to the newcomers. That's who he's after anyway. But that's why we put out these videos, because people need an alternative point of view. Swamp tanking is not fish keeping. It's some other. They've bastardized the whole thing as far as I'm concerned, and I will speak out against it. And if that's me, taking on big channels, well, I'm not, because I don't mention their names, and I keep all that. I talk about the practice, and I talk about what's wrong with it, and people talk about me all the time too. So what, right? But just to be clear, I didn't pick this fight. And I'm not going anywhere, because that's what this fight's about. It's about driving me off so that they can keep selling their mud. Because if people start listening to me and they start sterilizing their column, okay, the whole concept of a biotope and the need for their mud goes out the freaking window. They're anti-filtration, anti-clear water, and they have an agenda. I don't make any money off YouTube. Nobody sponsors me. It'd be nice if people did. I mean, sorry, not nobody, because Northfin is far from being a nobody. Okay? It's just a great Canadian company, and they do have excellent food. But there's a lot of politics also involved right now with taxation and stuff that makes a lot of companies not want to send me stuff. So I don't get any of the advantages all the other fish tubers are getting. Half of it's because I live in Canada and I got a backwards government that's basically pissed off all the social media companies and pissed off everybody through tariffs and taxes and things of that nature. They just stopped doing business with us. So there's that. But I don't make nothing here. I don't have a product to sell. I don't have an agenda. I just want you all to have a great fish keeping experience and receive some solid, clean advice. So that's where I'm coming from on all this stuff. You want to call me an instigator, somebody picking fights? No, those are just the people who don't agree. Those are the people who drank the Kool-Aid. And it's embarrassing. Once you drink the Kool-Aid, it's embarrassing to admit you may have been wrong. A lot of people can't do that. I drank the Kool-Aid. Look at all the deaths I had. Go back 2 years of my videos. Even listen to the way I was talking. I was watching that stuff and I was eating it up too. It was wrong. I had to learn the hard way. And now I'm teaching people the same lesson. Just don't do it. Stick with traditional fish keeping. Buy traditional equipment. Don't be afraid to buy 6 million sponge filters from Aquarium Co-op or whoever you love, because overfiltration is, in my opinion, is key. Your plants are never going to do the job. I don't care how full your tank is with plants. They can be helpful, but they're not going to do the entire job. Not if you want to stock a nice big a tank full of large cichlids. Certainly not. You want to stock a handful of rice fish? No problem. Plants will keep up. They'll never keep up with my tank. I don't care how full of plants I make this tank. They won't keep up with they won't be able to do the entire job. I've got to use other things like biomedia packed sumps to take care of business. I can't rely on plants. My sump will outcompete thousands of plants, thousands of them, in breaking down nitrates. And it'll also gas off the nitrates. Plants don't do that. They just convert it. Anyhow, I've made videos of that in the past. Do check them out. And I thank you for watching. So, the swamp tankers leave large cichlids alone and stick with within their realm and stop trying to trick people into killing fish. I won't have anything to comment on. But if they continue that behavior, they know they're doing it. They're being inflammatory. They're doing it for clicks, and they're displaying their victims. And I'll point it out every time. That's fine. I don't mind doing it. I'll be like, this is wrong. Look at these fish. Here's what's wrong with them. I just want people to understand that it's wrong. I hate the thought of a new to the hobby fish keeper going out there, spending hundreds of dollars on discus because they followed, and they got 18 inches of substrate and they're ready to go because they watched that crap. Because those people are going to end up sorry and very upset. They'll be one of those I'm never going to buy discus again people, and it's sad. It's sad. They're gonna be out hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars, depending on what fish they purchased, and they're gonna end up in disappointment, and that bothers me. I don't want to see that for anyone. So, it offends me to know that there's a group of individuals out there pushing that onto people. But that's where I'm coming from this. I don't want people being confused. I'm not out there trying to pick fights with certain communities for no reason. There's reason. They picked it with me. And I'm the wrong person to pick a fight with. I don't care if you're in front of my face or you're a million miles away. I'm the wrong person. And you might think, oh, Jesus, Discus North, you're just talking out your ass. But look, in YouTube terms, I'm nothing. I've got it, creeping up on 2,000 subscribers. I'm nothing. And established channels with hundreds of thousands of people decide to try and crush me because I'm just a little guy. And the tables seem to have turned. I'm not the only one fighting back these days, but others have decided to as well. And that didn't come from nowhere. And the tables have turned. I may be little in terms of numbers, but my message got out. I can't walk into a pet shop anymore without being recognized. And I only have 2,000 subscribers. I'm even getting stopped in public. People start telling me about their tanks. And I've only got 2,000 subscribers. I live in a city of 1 million people. My message is out there. And I'm happy about that. It's good stuff. Because I got the right message. Even if I'm pissing off a few swamp tankers, I'm putting the right message out there. And for the last several years, a lot of the wrong messages have been out there. And a lot of people have been getting dinked over for it. So, quality fish keeping. That's all I'm after. I think that's all anybody's truly after. And unfortunately, the concept's been muddied. Pardon the pun.